Hey everyone, it's Andrew with the Market Mindset. Today we're going to be speaking to CEO and President of Forte Mineral Corp, Patrick Elliott. We're going to get caught up on some big movements, some big changes, and the upcoming market. Get a sense of what he thinks is going to happen here, not only in Peru, where their projects are, but just kind of the future of mining, copper, gold, and what's happening. So, Patrick, great to have you here. We've been looking forward to getting caught up on this because it's some exceptional projects. And during a very challenging time for juniors, your stock has held up very well, I think because of the strength of what you guys have here. So maybe tell us what your flagship here, how significant this is.
Yeah, thanks for having us. It's a pleasure to be back. And, in 6 months since we spoke last, there's been a lot of progression, a few new additions to the portfolio, and a lot of changes with the company and being drill permitted and ready to test 3 projects that never been drilled before in Peru. So pretty exciting place to be, and we're well financed now for the next 9 months to achieve our objectives. So
now, one of the biggest things, there's always that kind of triad of you need to have the smart money, the projects, the team that can do it. You have to have all if you're going to have success, but some companies have more than others, and I could argue that the projects that you guys have here, they are quite special. You got them, from some big players, and there's some dedication and some discipline as to how you got them. But like some of these haven't been tested for quite some time, and they had great work with some results on them.
No, that's right. A portfolio like this, it takes a mining cycle in order to build something like this, and you have to be very versatile and quick on your feet through the downturns and make some tough decisions when you want to acquire things, and that's how we were able to pick up most of our assets in our private project generator, our strategic partner, Globetrotters Resources. So that's the model, and that's a company that we'd formed in 2009 in Peru when we decided that this was the jurisdiction we wanted to focus on. It's extremely prolific. It's the second largest copper producer in the world, and incredible gold and silver endowments as well. And so setting up shop in 2009 and spending the time building that portfolio in the private project generator gave us the opportunity to have these world-class projects to be able to move forward and spin out into Forte. So, these projects are hard to find and hard to control, especially 100% of, and we're very proud to say that we have 100% interest in all 4 of these projects we're going to talk about today, with a 1% royalty to Globetrotters. So we try and be very efficient with our acquisitions and our spending, and we're well financed now to drill test Pucarini, a high sulfidation gold project, for the very first time. So that'll come in March after the rainy season in the Puno region, and we look forward to making a discovery at Pucarini.
What's interesting about having an edge in an area is a place like Peru. If you're a major and you've done some good work, like I would say in the past, and maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong, there's some arrogance as to like, hey, we're going to come in, this is what we're going to do, we're just going to move forward, and not like I'm saying like the 80s, 90s, we're not really engaging with the community as well as one should. There would be the assumption, we're going to build infrastructure, we're going to do all these great things, but not really feeling like these people are being heard. And that doesn't sound like much if you're in the business. You think, oh, well, that should be easy to overcome. It isn't. Like, if people don't feel like they're being heard in projects and areas, that can become an issue. And it sounds like you guys said, listen, there's good rocks here. There's some great stuff going on. We really need to make sure that we're communicating with the people here, that we're on their side, they're a partner with us.
Yeah, that's right. When times are good in the metals and mining industry, everybody's staking ground and everybody's trying to acquire. And so that's when it comes very competitive and challenging to make these acquisitions and to hold ground. And so when I say it takes a full mining cycle, we're very active in the downturns. We're very versatile, and we do have that ability in our project generator to be able to pick up and build a large portfolio of projects, good projects that we've looked at for many years that potentially get dropped. And when they get dropped, a lot of mid-tiers and majors go through these cycles where they relinquish the exploration assets. That's usually the first things to go, and the exploration teams, and that budget gets cut. And we've made some very phenomenal acquisitions that way. Projects that we know well, that we follow, and just have persistence and patience with. And Altair is a keen example of that. It's 10 years of effort in the making. We staked that in 2013 when it was dropped by Teck Resources, and there's a lot of smoke around this project. It was discovered in the late 90s by Buenaventura. They had a phenomenal discovery hole, first hole into the target there, and it's 15 kilometers south of Barrick's Pierina mine, where they mined 10 million ounces of gold from the late 90s until just recently. So it's currently going through mine reclamation and mine closure, but a phenomenal project for Barrick and the surrounding communities and of Juarez and the city there benefited tremendously from this operation. So there's support from the communities there. They had a very good relationship with Barrick and saw it firsthand on how a successful project can be executed and benefit everyone. So our focus is on Altair. We've gained good access to the project now, and we own 100% of this project. But Buenaventura, that first hole is 131 meters of 2.6 grams gold from surface. So it's a phenomenal mineralized system, same host rock and alteration and age of mineralization as Pierina mine, and it's a long strike and on a major northwest fault system in the Quebrada Blanca system. So we're excited to move that forward and start the FDA drilling process. Should take about 1 year to get the drill permits for that. And we also made another acquisition, porphyry copper gold moly called Miscanthus that I'd love to talk about and share the attributes of that one.
Yeah, before we jump into that, I always like to kind of put it into context from a retail perspective, and this is very forward thinking. But someone like a Barrick who needs to replace ounces, and I would argue it's probably shopping around looking for things. If you guys could develop this up, which you're going to have a chance, you've got the permitting, working on the permitting there. It's an area they're familiar with. The costs of mining in Peru are understood, are certainly by Barrick with their old mine there. You can see by the work that you guys put in, and you could really add a lot of value. Majors are going to want to be interested again, and whatever work you do with that community as well. All that goes a very long way, and that's very early stage. But I always like to kind of point out to people that sometimes you have areas where you have to hit high grade, or it's just not going to be economic. This isn't necessarily that case. You've got a phenomenal project that others probably vied over for a long time, and you're fixing some of those issues and getting it really ready for someone to look at down the road here.
Yeah, we're seeing gold grades in this system that were consistently mined from the late 90s until 2018 at Pierina. So it survived all the downturns in the metal commodity prices, gold prices, and it's very robust. So the grade's good, and the cost of mining for this type of operation will be cost effective. And so we very active in discussions with other mid-tiers and major gold producers and explorers, and as we know, there's a lot of competition and interest in advancing these types of projects, moving them forward, and at this point we'd like to move it forward 100% with Forte, but we're open to looking for strategic partners when if the deal's right and the time's right.
Walk us through the other one, because the other property here, you're going to actually, you've raised some money in the summer. You're going to do some work on that right away. So people ask, well, there's going to be news flow. Yep, there's going to be some news flow here regarding Miscanthus. Tell us what you've got there, because it is a copper moly. It's a slightly different story. different system, but let us know what's special about that one.
Miscanthus in south central Peru, it's a prolific copper belt and a gold belt as well. And so Miscanthus was advanced from Sumitomo. Sumitomo spent over $500,000 US moving this project forward geologically. They generated a DIA drill permits, which took 3 years. And they were ready to drill it, but unfortunate times in the market, they had to relinquish it, and we were fortunate enough to pick this up for a nominal amount. So it's a drill-ready project. It's several telescope porphyry copper mollies that we're targeting, and it looks like it's got a phenomenal epithermal overprint of gold. And so originally what led them to that was the alteration aster anomaly that was associated with it, and then subsequently with surface soil geochem, it delineated a phenomenal gold copper molly anomaly that was then followed up with geophysics. So there's a lot of coincidental anomalies that with the chargeability resistivity in the soil geochem that align really nicely. So really nice targets there, and we'd be open to potentially bringing a partner in to move this forward. These projects, they aren't cheap to drill. It requires deep and several holes to properly test this system, but quite attractive targets here that needs to be drilled, needs to move forward. But these projects are really hard to find, and especially on surface, a lot of companies are drilling blind targets. They're drilling very deep, trying to look for these types of systems, and luckily this is exposed on surface. So there's some really good surface signature that we can test at depth.
It's interesting because even when I first got into this sector, I thought, why would someone like a Sumitomo, why would they sell something that they think is pretty good? You don't realize that in this market, in this space, that happens quite a bit. Like someone gets a project, maybe they hold it, they're like, wow, we're focused over here, gotta let one go. That's right. And it sounds counterintuitive. You think, no, just find more money, drill it. It's like, well, easier said than done. But this does happen where, if you're patient and you're watching and you're in, keep your ear close, you can pick up projects like this and really raise them up to get them to the next stage. And that is a big part of this whole sector.
Yeah, we see it every once in a while where there's a corporate strategic change, usually driven by the state of the metals markets, and companies focus on optimizing production or more advanced stage acquisition, business development activities whereby exploration gets dropped. And especially the earlier stage exploration stuff, which we love, where we have proven we can build value. And you have to get lucky, and you have to be very versatile in order to acquire these things. But Miscanthus was a result of relationships and being ready to be able to acquire when it was dropped. So we were fortunate enough to get an asset that had quite a bit of money spent on it, move forward. They've delineated some phenomenal targets, and it's drill ready with a permit. This would cost us $250,000 alone just to get the drill permit, and you'd have to wait 3 years. So that will get drilled next year with a partner or without, and there's interest in this project. As I said, these large porphyry copper alteration systems are hard to find, and companies are eager to test them and build out their a resource to fill their pipeline of future production assets.
And it goes without saying. I maybe take it for granted because we talk about it all the time, but copper. Whenever I hear, copper's been pushed down a little bit, I'm like, well, I don't care. My long-term view is 5, 10, 15, 20 years. Like, the need for copper is so dramatic. And we haven't really brought on that many projects to fill that gap in. So I imagine your outlook for copper is pretty strong.
Yeah, it's a challenge trying to manage the short-term expectations versus the long-term. But like I said, we've been in the country since 2005 with the Zafranel deposit. But Globetrotters started the initiatives here on the project generation in 2009. So it is a long-term focus for us, and we also strive to make short-term value gains for our shareholders with moving these projects forward, making these cheap acquisitions, and showing how we could build value from the exploration to drilling and discovery.
What's really cool too is that you're getting, I hate having to tell people mining is about being patient. It is. I'm not even a patient person, as people know, but you've put in 10 years already. So a lot of that patience has already been baked in to get these, to even get them ready to where they are. And so you're at that kind of cusp now of like, okay, for you, it seems like a very long time, but for someone new looking, they go, okay, you're ready to go. This is exciting. That is one of the values of having people that are in and patient in this system, in the mining sector, and looking for key projects and getting them ready. And this is what we've got here as a couple projects here that are very near term.
Yeah, that would be challenging to do with a public company for a decade or plus, trying to assemble all this and build these assets and a portfolio like this. And that's why we have the model in which we do with the private project generator, and then we spin out the assets into the pubco. But Forte, we've been 2.5 years trading now publicly, and we're ready to drill Pucarini for the first time, as I mentioned, in March, and we made this new acquisition with Misquichilca that was very strategic from Sumitomo to Globetrotters. And Altair, it's a lot of smoke around that, a highly sought after project. It's been high interest from several majors. And it's never been followed up since 27 years ago with these initial drill holes. So be very exciting to move that forward. And we have a good working relationship with the communities that we can now get work done on the project, move that FDA drill permit forward, and drill it next year. Sometime, this time next year will be when we acquire that permit.
And it'll make a very exciting PDAC as well when people start talk about where they're looking forward, what's happening. It'll be great for you guys to be, kind of telling your story then as well. One of the other key things I like to remind people is when they're looking at any company is how much does management own? Is there skin in the game? And that's a very significant case here.
Yeah, it trades the way it does for a reason. It's so tightly held. We have, many long-term investors that have supported our model on several companies, and our strategic partner, Globetrotters, owns 18%, management owns 16%, long-term investors own close to 40%. So there's very little in the public float, about a quarter of the stocks in the public float. And as we progress, that will change, and it'll bring more liquidity as we start to create awareness about the story here. And I'm not sure if I mentioned, but we are going to go across the pond for the very first time in the coming weeks and be very active in visiting investors and interested parties in Europe, the UK. So it'll be an exciting road trip for us to be able to share this story in the UK and Europe. And we've assembled a phenomenal gold and copper portfolio in Peru that people need to be aware of, that like the sector, that are bullish on gold and copper, and can see that the value that we can create in these assets.
So it goes without saying that we saw a little bit of interest with copper during COVID lockdowns, and then it's a bit of a pullback because people say, oh, China's slowing down, but that's, I would say, it's true. It's short-term true. It's a lot of smoke, though, a lot of smoke and mirrors. The larger framework, whoever you look at, Wood Mackenzie, any chart you want to look at, it shows a massive drop-off of new copper coming in and the requirements and the need to do any of this electrification. So the timing for you guys in a jurisdiction like Peru to start really putting boots on the ground and delineating and kind of unlocking some of these is actually pretty outstanding.
Yeah, no, the timing couldn't be better for us now, having these projects drill permitted to move forward. So the 3 projects never been drilled before, both porphyry coppers and high sulfidation gold. And looking into 2025, when we drill test them for the first time, it's going to be exciting with the timing and the supply demand functions of copper, and releasing news on that. So we should have attention and interest from the market. Where 2025 is going to be an exciting year for copper, and when you look at the other majors and mid-tiers, they're all looking for porphyry coppers. Even the Newcrest and the Newmonts now, there's been a big focus and shift to looking for big porphyry copper golds, and there's a lot to be said about that. These deposits typically are in production for 30 or 40 years. Yes, they have a high capex, but they generate a tremendous amount of cash flow once they are built and sufficiently running, and so that's why our model is to find porphyry coppers and high sulfidation gold systems. But it's the long mine life and the long-term economic view. So we're in a good position now to be able to go out and test these, and 2025 will be exciting. It's
that scope and scale that really the big miners are interested in, that Peru can deliver. And we can equate that to simple things like, you want these, cloud storage and AI facilities and whatnot. That requires so much energy and so much electricity to build out all these power plants that, AI, all these companies say, hey, we're going to have our own small nuclear generator. You still need a ton of copper in order to make that happen. And people haven't quite put that together. And where's that going to come from? They kind of just think, hey, it's just going to be there. So no, we need to make these discoveries. We need to be having a pipeline, especially for the West or North America, that makes sense as well. They're not shipping it from one place to another. It can be kind of delivered logistically a bit better than shipping everything off to China, say, and then shipping it back from there.
No, that's right. We've seen some massive new ports get built in Peru to be able to handle the new mines coming on stream and the logistical sequences, and the infrastructure is phenomenal. But southern Peru and that Paleocene copper belt, it's special because it's genuinely a clean concentrate that's created there. There's very low levels of arsenic associated with the copper moly porphyry systems there, and that's why they're so attractive to the majors. It's proven to be good grades of incredibly large tonnage of mines that last like I said 30 to 40 years. I mean, Cerro Verde is a perfect example of originally a Phelps Dodge, now Freeport mine that is still in production, and it's the 5th largest in the world. So they keep mining, they keep finding more ore and going deeper. But the other major component there is the supergene enrichment blanket that is associated with these porphyry cobble system. That really helps the payback period for this initial capex. So you get this higher grade enrichment. It's called the supergene enrichment of soluble chalcocite copper that gets mined early on, and it's up top in the deposit, and a lot of these systems that they haven't been eroded, they still have a preserved leach cap, then they have that component, and that's a huge economic driver for production decision and a capex decision for these companies. So
that's always nice to hear, because usually you have to hear, oh, we're gonna have to go down 2 kilometers to get something. You think, oh my goodness, it better be high grade.
Yeah, no, it's fortunately the open pitable large porphyry coppers that you can have good waste to ore strip ratios that you start mining right away.
And if you'll remember, everyone, I was talking with Tavi Costa from Crescat just a week ago. It was a big crowd listening, and he said, pay attention to South America. So there's lots of great projects down there, and this is a good example of that huge potential here. And we're going to keep our eyes on this as news comes out. But once again, when you've got a great team that's being patient to pick up incredible projects, that's a lot of what you're looking for, and that's what we've got built in here.
Yeah, it takes time. It takes a lot of time in some cases, and we are at the point now where we can go out and create a lot of value by testing these and moving them forward, by building resources and the model to build pipeline projects for the mid-tiers and majors. Even with growth rates, slowing a bit from original projections a couple of years ago, we're still in this phase where we don't know where the future copper production and supply is going to come from, and so there's that inflection point. Hopefully see it in next year in 2025, but it's real and it'll be long term and it'll be powerful. So we're glad we have a foothold in copper and gold as well, but it'll be exciting to move these projects forward, make some discoveries, make some noise here, and generate some interest.
Well, also because it's Peru. Peru's such a major player in copper. They know they are. And other people actually kind of know, oh yeah, a lot of copper comes from Peru. That actually goes a long way as well, because there's a framework, there's a model they're used to. They know they like it. It brings in a lot of GDP. And they know that this electric future is coming and they're going to play a big role in it. So once again, projects in a place that well understands what the future needs.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that goes without saying, but you look for good copper projects around existing copper mines, and this is one of the most prolific copper belts in the world, and Peru's number 2. But the southern Peru copper belt attributes about 60% of the country's copper, and deposits like Cerro Verde, I think it's the 5th largest copper deposit in the world. That's nearby Torimocho and Quellaveco. So these are the types of projects we're looking for. We have the alteration footprint that fills that void compared to some of these other comparable projects, and it's just a matter of getting out there and drilling them and moving them forward. Now that the drill permits are in place, we've surpassed that hurdle, and it'll be fun to get out there and start coming out with some good news from the drill bit.
Tell me if I'm wrong here, but we kind of alluded to like Barrick's closing down one. And to me, I look and go, Altair, wow, if I was them, I want to add ounces. I'm looking at that thinking, whew, we understand this. We understand the system. We were nearby. We understand Peru. They would be, I would imagine, chomping at the bit. Then from your perspective would be, yeah, we would love to have a partner like that, but we have it right now, and whatever we can add in value, there's value in the ground right now. And if you unlock it, that's more for you. If you give it away too soon, and in this game, is that part of the game? Is like you don't want to give away too much, I guess.
Yeah, these are tough decisions to make on the business development side, and like I said, these projects are very hard to come by, especially Altair. The discovery has been made, albeit it was in 1997, but there hasn't been any follow-up drilling on this deposit because access has been challenging there historically. But that's all changed now, and you got to be very cognizant of giving up interest in a project. We finally have 100% of this property. It was staked in competition with another major, and just in the last couple of years, we've acquired 100% of it with a 1% royalty to a third party. So. Very important to properly test these systems. We have the ability to raise the capital to get in there and drill test it once we get the FTA drill permit. So, the plan and the model and the strategy here is to properly test all these high resistivity anomalies that were delineated many years ago. And when the timing's right, you divest the interest and entertain third party offers at that point, whether it's bringing in a joint venture partner or sale of the asset. But no, I mean, doing it at this point too early, there's too much left on the table, and we owe it to our shareholders to be able to properly evaluate these things and put in enough drilling and work and building the resources before they're ready to divest. This
is what's exciting for a retail investor, is that you can participate in that arc with the company right now. They don't have to give it away for a little bit of cash. I mean, you're going to sit on it, you're going to develop it, you're going to bring it up to speed. And this is what's exciting for someone to go, I like it, I like this thesis, I'm patient, they've been more than patient, but we're ready to go. And that's what we want to develop to tell the market, is that there are companies and projects out there that are unique and special and doing very interesting things. Exactly. I mean, we look at the value creation curve, and
even though we might think we're creating value by waiting 3 years for a drill permit, there really isn't a whole lot of inherent value from the market there. Having said that, we've got to the point now where we can escalate this value creation curve by getting in there, drilling these targets, building resources. That this is the quickest amount of time to build value in these projects, and we're at the forefront of it now. So pretty exciting to be able to have 3 projects fully drill permitted, to walk in and drill test, and one that we're working on the final permit for. So that rounds out our portfolio of fairly balanced copper and gold, epithermal and porphyry assets in Peru, and there'll be a lot of news and a lot of exciting events coming up with drilling and permitting.
Excellent. So, thanks so much. We'll be paying attention and watching to see what that news is. Thanks again, Patrick. It's great to see you.
Thanks very much for having me, and it's always a pleasure to sit down and get caught up.